Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we need to talk about Tropical Storm Elsa. Once again, we're going to go over the final kind of predictions for the impacts for you guys along the East Coast in Florida, areas like that, in just a moment. For today's comment of the day, I want to know what is the maximum amount of rainfall you think anyone will see along the United States with this storm. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at the satellite imagery there, and as you can see, a lot of those taller clouds are located over Cuba, but also the Florida Keys. In general, southern Florida is already feeling impact from this one, and they have been since about yesterday with some of those outer bands, but now we're finally getting to where the middle of the storm is actually kind of in between Cuba and the Florida Keys, although again, like I said, most of those taller clouds are located over Cuba, indicating probably most of the rainfall is occurring there as well. Here's an interesting thing. Let's take a look at that cone forecast from the National Hurricane Center. And as you can see, it's supposed to be a tropical storm until it hits kind of the armpit of Florida, as I called it a little while ago, just a couple of days ago. Become a tropical depression there over South Carolina there, North Carolina, and Virginia. And then become, again, a tropical storm offshore of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast coast before becoming a post-tropical cyclone there over Atlantic Canada there. Interesting stuff here with this storm. Another interesting thing is, although this storm seems like it will almost certainly be a tropical storm status maximum throughout the rest of its life, it does have a hurricane watch there near Tampa and north of Tampa. Very interesting choice there by the National Hurricane Center. We're well below hurricane status right now, so that is pretty interesting and could indicate that they do expect further intensification here last minute here before it hits Florida. Alright, now let's go ahead and move on and take a look here at the probability of tropical depression, probability of tropical storm, and so on according to the European model. And as you can see, we basically have a 90 to 100% chance of tropical depression status, at least, across the southeast states, all the way up through the mid-Atlantic, and then offshore of the mid-Atlantic and the northeast there. Again, 90 to 100% chance located in that darker kind of burgundy or red color there. Here's the probability of tropical storm, and as you can see, they have a 90 to 100% chance there for Florida and Georgia, and then only about a 40 to 50% chance there for the Carolinas. And then once you're offshore of the Mid-Atlantic and around the Mid-Atlantic there, we get, again, a 90 to 100% chance of tropical storm status. So you can totally tell this model definitely agrees with the National Hurricane Center, because it likely has this one tropical storm, then becoming a tropical depression, and then once again becoming a tropical storm here, according to that as well. Super interesting to see the great agreement there. What we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look here at the spaghetti model guidance, the intensity guidance, and then finally we're going to talk about impacts in just a moment. Alright, now here we are taking a look here at the GEFS model guidance, and this is our GFS ensemble model. You can see it's a little bit outdated because it has that low pressure center located over Cuba. It's now somewhere in between the Keys and Cuba, so it's a little bit progressed further. But overall, we expect this one to hit somewhere on the panhandle or the armpit of Florida, if you will. And then this model expects it to be inland well into Virginia, and then eventually moving offshore there, offshore of the Mid-Atlantic. Even, maybe a direct impact there with southern New England, according to this, and then definitely impacting Nova Scotia and Newfoundland directly with this storm. This would be a less impactful solution because it's keeping it on shore a lot of the time here, according to this GFS ensemble model. As we move on to the European ensemble model, the interesting thing here with this model is we see, again, it's outdated a little bit, just like the GFS ensemble model. The greens are indicating a higher pressure, the blue is indicating a lower pressure, so you could see that it's a higher pressure as it's hitting Florida and even as it's moving over the Carolinas and Virginia. And then once it's offshore of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, it becomes all blue, even some orange showing up there, indicating lower pressure, likely indicating a stronger storm is expected according to this model once it's reaching those locations there in the more northern regions of this storm's track. Super interesting stuff. It does have it weakening once again, possibly, or at least half of those models, as you can see, become green again offshore or onshore of Atlantic Canada, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland there. Finally, here's our Canadian ensemble model as well, and it's a lot more similar to the GFS ensemble model. It does some wacky things over there near Greenland. You can see some loop-de-loops going on that is likely something weird going on with the model, but I wouldn't say it can be totally ruled out. We have seen cyclones do that before. Here is all the individual models. And you can see a lot of them agree with the GFS model, a lot of them agree with the European model, so pretty much every solution is on the table at this point. As expected, if a model shows it, it is possible. That's how I always treat it, and I think it's a good way to treat it. Obviously, they do show some very wacky things, so some things are lower probability than others, but overall, yeah, I think everything a model shows is pretty much possible. We do see some of those green ones well offshore of the Northeast and Canada, and they even head towards Portugal and Spain. Very interesting to head straight across the Atlantic. Those ones go very far off from any of the other models, so we will call that a lower probability solution for sure. That would possibly mean a stronger storm as it stays offshore of even the Carolinas, potentially. Moving offshore of northeastern North Carolina and staying offshore would definitely mean this storm would end up being stronger. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the intensity guidance in just a moment, and then we're going to move on to impacts. All right, now here we are taking a look at Tropical Storm Elsa model intensity guidance, and as you can see, we're at about a mid-range tropical storm. And within 24 hours, we will be seeing a landfall for Florida that will weaken this storm dramatically, as you can see, as it drops off very quickly between hours 24 and 36, which you can see at the bottom. And a majority of these actually have it dropping below tropical storm status. That's the tropical depression status. But within 72 hours, they have it regaining that tropical storm status. And then eventually slowly deteriorating in intensity, becoming a weaker storm eventually down the road, obviously. Usually these storms, they move very slowly in the Caribbean and the southeast states, and then they begin to pick up speed as they head towards further north locations where they're moving, even double or triple the speed they were down in the warmer climates. So I think that this one could dramatically drop off in intensity later on because of the fact that it's quickly heading further north and to colder waters, basically, which, if you don't know already, colder waters means a weaker storm. Basically, it's gonna weaken because these tropical storms they basically eat up that warm water and it intensifies them and maintains their intensity. But once they lose that, they quickly aren't maintaining their intensity. They quickly drop off. Here's our tropical storm force wind speed probabilities, and as you can see, these probabilities drop off fairly quickly once we're offshore of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. To 20 to 30% chance. I do expect that to go up. Total rainfall, according to the National Hurricane Center, if you're in the lighter green, 1 to 2 inches of rain. If you're in the darker green, 2 to 4 inches of rain. That's when we start to see some flooding risk, obviously. And then, obviously, in the yellow, for sure, 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. That's for a lot of the western coast of Florida. And it is scattered in there for Georgia and South Carolina. That means they do expect it to be possible. They just can't pinpoint, obviously, that exact location. Now here's the flash flooding risk, and as you can see, if you're in the green, you have a marginal risk or a 5% chance. If you're in the yellow, you have a slight risk or a 10% chance. And then if you're in the red, which is for areas near Tampa Bay and south of there, and then also coastal Georgia and South Carolina, that includes Savannah and Charleston. Both are beautiful cities, by the way. That is a 20% chance or a moderate risk of flash flooding. So we do expect some impacts there as far as flash flooding to be likely for some folks. Storm surge, we're varying anywhere from about 1 to 2 feet to all the way to 3 to 5 feet, which is where we begin to get those moderate impacts from flash flooding. From storm surge. I said flash flooding. We expect 1 to 2 feet there for the Florida Keys, 1 to 3 feet there for the southern coast of Florida. And then once you're heading more towards Bonita Beach and stuff like that, you're more around 2 to 4 feet. Tampa Bay and areas to the north are about 3 to 5 feet. And then for the Panhandle, we're expecting 1 to 2 feet. And then also 2 to 4 feet there for a very, very thin location near the armpit of Florida. Now for the total wind, this is going to be on the maximum wind gust accumulated because that's going to be more useful. We're going to be able to more quickly look at this. The European model has a very impactful solution here. They have about, in the Florida, they're calling for around 80 miles per hour plus wind gusts. And then even up there for the areas in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, they're expecting somewhere between 70 and 80 mile per hour wind gusts to be possible. And then that picks up as it becomes a tropical storm again. I think this is rather high, but we will wait and see. This seems very, very high to me. And then the total rainfall, we have plenty of 5 inches plus going on in the browns. The yellows and reds is anywhere from an inch to 5 inches of rainfall. So we do expect major rainfall to be possible for many, many folks. For our confidence tab today, we're at a 5 out of 6, very high confidence. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think we will have an El Nino winner, a La Nina winner, or a La Nada, which is neither? And James Marr said, I still believe we will see an Enso neutral, which is the same thing as a La Nada winter, which favors a nor'easter pattern and for a subtropical jet to phase with the northern jet. And obviously, I've mentioned this before in my winter thoughts videos. A neutral Enso is my favorite kind of winter, and I've, in my experience, witnessed that these are the most impactful winters as far as snow and cold is concerned, which I love both of those things. I know there's some people that don't, but I love both of those things. So I really have my fingers crossed for a neutral Enso, since that does appear to be possible this upcoming winter. Anyway, for today's Patron Highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovi Nagel, Larry the Pan, and Donna Carnes, alongside our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Cotalesa, Cat Bite, Charles Stinnett, Cindy Klein, Mark J., Luke Flago, Gary's, John Calisi, Dwight Phelan, and Stephen Crenenthal. If you'd like to be a part of this Patron entry of the day, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. I'd also like to thank our channel members, HairFarms1 and Catbite as well. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to destroy the like button, leave a comment down below, and be sure to subscribe if you like weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.